Hello, everyone. Welcome to this powerful English learning story. Today, you're not just going to improve your English. You're going to witness one of the greatest real-life journeys of ambition, failure, and unstoppable belief. This is the true story of how a bold idea, once laughed at, became a company that changed the world. This is the rise of SpaceX. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like your dreams were too big, too crazy, too far from reality? Maybe someone told you, that's impossible, or you'll never make it. If yes, then this story is for you. Because Elon Musk, the man behind SpaceX, heard those same words, again and again. But instead of giving up, he used those doubts as fuel to build rockets. Real rockets. The kind that launch into space. The kind that return to Earth and land standing up. But how did it begin? Elon Musk was not a rocket scientist. He wasn't born with billions. He didn't come from power. In fact, he was a kid from South Africa, bullied in school, often lost in books and wild ideas. He later moved to the United States with one thing in mind: possibility. After creating and selling PayPal, he made millions. But instead of retiring, he asked a question no one else was asking. Why hasn't humanity gone to Mars yet? Most people would smile politely and move on. Not Elon. He became obsessed. He read everything he could about rockets. He studied the history of spaceflight. He visited Russia, hoping to buy an old missile to turn into a spaceship. They laughed in his face. That rejection didn't stop him. It lit a fire inside him. He came back to America, sat down with engineers and said, "We'll build the rockets ourselves." In 2002, SpaceX was born. Not in some shiny NASA lab, but in a small warehouse in California. There were no guarantees, no government contracts, just Elon's personal money and a team of young, determined engineers. Many of them had never built a rocket before. They worked long hours, slept under desks, and believed in one crazy mission: to make space travel cheaper, faster, and reusable. The first rocket they built was called Falcon 1. It looked small compared to NASA's massive machines, but it carried massive hopes. In 2006, they launched Falcon 1 for the first time. The rocket rose into the sky and exploded. Failure. Millions lost. But Elon didn't quit. They tried again. In 2007, another failure. And again in 2008, a third failure. By then, SpaceX was almost out of money. Elon had spent nearly everything he had. He said, "We had enough money left for one last launch. If it failed, SpaceX would die." Can you imagine that moment? Years of work, all your money, hundreds of people counting on you, and you have one last shot. In September 2008, they launched Falcon 1 for the fourth time. This time, the rocket soared. It didn't explode. It reached orbit. It was the first privately built, liquid-fueled rocket to do so. Cheers, tears, hugs, relief. That moment changed everything. Suddenly, SpaceX was real. It wasn't a joke. NASA noticed. The world noticed. Shortly after, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. A dream that began with rejection in Russia was now being paid for by America's space agency. But Elon wasn't satisfied. Delivering cargo was just step one. His real goal? Taking people to space, and eventually, to Mars. So SpaceX built the Falcon 9, a bigger, stronger rocket. But Elon added a challenge. It had to return to Earth and land upright. Everyone said it couldn't be done. Rockets were always one way. They crash into the ocean or burn up. But Elon believed reusability was the only way to make space travel affordable for everyone. They tried landing the first Falcon 9 booster on a floating drone ship in the ocean. It crashed. They tried again. Another crash. Again. explosion. Boom. Over and over. The world watched with a mix of curiosity and laughter. But each time, SpaceX learned. They adjusted. They improved. Then, in 2015, it happened. The Falcon 9 launched into space, completed its mission, and returned to Earth. And then, like a sci-fi movie, it landed upright, perfectly. A moment that once felt like science fiction had become science fact. People cried watching it. Engineers hugged each other. And Elon? He just smiled and said, "We're not done yet." Let me pause here and say something personal. You see, I remember watching that landing live. I wasn't a scientist or engineer. I was just someone sitting in front of a screen in a small room, heart pounding. When that rocket landed, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Pure inspiration. It reminded me that we are capable of more than we think. That failure is not the end. It's the beginning, if we keep going. That's the power of SpaceX's story. It's not just about metal and fire. It's about people. It's about courage. It's about dreaming bigger than anyone says you should. After mastering rocket launches, SpaceX set its eyes on something bigger, carrying humans. In May 2020, SpaceX launched two NASA astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, into space aboard the Crew Dragon capsule. It was the first time in history that a private company had done this. For the first time in almost a decade, American astronauts launched from American soil, thanks to SpaceX. Millions watched. The capsule soared into the sky. Hours later, it reached the space station. The mission was a complete success. It changed the way the world thought about space. And now, Elon Musk and SpaceX are building Starship, a rocket more powerful than anything humanity has ever made. It's meant to carry people not just to the moon, but to Mars. It's gigantic, shiny, fully reusable. In 2023, the first test flights began. Some ended in fire, some didn't leave the ground, but each test brings them closer. And Elon? He keeps saying, "We will get there." It's not a question of if, just when. What can we learn from this journey? First, dreams don't work unless you do. Elon Musk put everything on the line, his money, his reputation, even his health. Second, failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher. SpaceX failed over and over, but those failures shaped their success. Third, never listen to people who say you can't. Elon heard it every day. And now, his rockets are touching the stars. I want you to think about your own dreams. Maybe they aren't about rockets or Mars. Maybe they're about learning English, building a business, or creating a better life for your family. Whatever they are, don't give up. Progress is hard. Failure hurts. But if you stay focused, if you learn and keep moving forward, anything is possible. SpaceX didn't rise because of luck. It rose because of relentless effort, powerful vision, and a team of people who refused to quit. You have that same power inside you. Every day you choose to learn, to grow, to try again. You are launching your own mission. The stars may feel far away, but remember, so did Mars. Once. Thank you for listening, my friend. I hope this story didn't just help you practice English, but also inspired you to believe in your own journey. Keep learning, keep growing, and never stop reaching for your dream. Because as SpaceX proves, the sky is not the limit.